The 103rd Red River rivalry did not disappoint. Number 5 Texas knocked off number 1 Oklahoma, the first time in 45 years that the Longhorns have beaten a top-ranked Sooners club, and that was just the beginning. With the win, Texas jumped into the number 1 rank in the polls, the largest move by a team in 20 years. Texas head coach Mack Brown called the game one of the greatest he's ever seen, and he joins us now here on ESPN First Take. Mack, a couple days later, you look at that comment. If you can point at one thing that made this one of the greatest games for you, what was it?
Dana, I thought both teams continued to fight and compete, and it was like a heavyweight boxing match that one team would score and the other team would come right back and answer. And there was so much hype about this game last week with game day being there and number 1 against number 5 that so many times that the games do not live up to the hype, and I thought this one did.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It probably surpassed some of the hype that there was. There was another great quote from you afterwards. You said, "Everybody has questioned this team, including me. I didn't know how good we are." So take me back to the beginning of the year. What were your expectations for your team?
Well, it's a very young team, Dana, and there's a lot of really good football players on it, but none the celebrity status of guys like Ricky Williams and Roy Williams, and you just go back through Cedric Benson's and guys that we've had that were just great football players during their entire career here. And guys are making a name for themselves right now, but they're so much into team and they're so much into each other. It's been a real fun bunch to coach.
If you didn't know what they were at the start of the year, how good are they now as the number 1 ranked team?
Well, we're sure not. We're not sure because we just played a great team in Oklahoma. The other teams that we've played, we were probably better than. And that's why I always felt like, Dana, probably the next couple of weeks people should start ranking teams, not in the early season because we've already seen so many teams get upset, and we're not sure who's good at the beginning. But this team has got a stretch here of 6 games now that are very, very difficult. And if we continue to play like we have and we win those games, then we're deserving of number 1. I'm not sure anybody even cares about number 1 right now. There's just a lot of discussion about it for the week. But when you got Missouri, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Baylor, Kansas, and A&M coming up, if we can make it through this run, we'll deserve to be number 1.
Mack, I'll spin it forward in a minute, but it's interesting. You said the other teams that you played, you were better than, that you felt you were better than. Are you better than Oklahoma?
Well, Dana, the thing that's happened in college football, everything's so equal. And there are a lot of really good football teams out there, but there probably aren't as many great teams as there used to be. Parity is here. So what matters now is being the best team on that day, and Oklahoma is a very well-coached football team. They've got great football players. They've got a chance to win the rest of their games and get back in the mix, obviously. But on Saturday, we were the best team, and what we've got to do because of who we are, we can't stand around and not get excited about Missouri this weekend. So we've got to make sure that we put Oklahoma away, and we start talking about Missouri because they're very disappointed. They may be every bit as good a football team as Oklahoma, and they're coming in here to make sure they get back in the mix this weekend. So we'll know more about ourselves about 11, 12 o'clock on Saturday night.
Yeah, and what do you say to your team this week going into that game against Missouri? Now you're the team that everybody's gunning for, that they want to knock off. What do you say to sort of keep them focused, as much as you'd assume that it would be easy to stay focused now that they've got that top rank and have Missouri this weekend?
We told them yesterday that the number 1 was nice only because that gives them proper recognition for what they've done so far and being an undefeated team. But no one even remembers who was number 1 at this stage last year. Nobody even cares.
We can't remember. It kept switching every week.
It did, and that's the point. So don't get locked into thinking you're number 1. You're one of the better teams in the country right now. We don't think there is a number 1 at this time, and what we want to make sure is they go back to work and make sure that all they can do is play as good as they can play. And so far they've done that. They've played well. They've been fun. But you look at there's so many great teams that with parity here that could be in this spot, and we just want to make sure that we play like we would have played if we were 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I thought we would probably be 4th this week, maybe 3rd. And then with the upset of Missouri and Alabama not playing, people are just moving teams around more than they used to. Used to number 1 stayed, and I would have thought Alabama deserved to keep their ranking since they were number 1 after the Oklahoma loss last week because they didn't do anything to lose it except didn't play.